Hello and welcome to Gameplay with me, Mr. Mercury. Gameplay is to be an episodic show based on video games old and new. Doesn't matter what platform, doesn't matter what genre the game is, as long as I own it, I'm going to review it. So I just want to start off just by telling you a little bit about myself, make it nice and quick. I've been playing video games ever since I was about 4 or 5 years old. The very first system I owned was a Woody Atari 2600, as weird as that sounds, and then I went on to the Atari 2600 Junior, I believe it's called, the plastic one. The very first game I ever completed was Pitfall 2, and there was always something about that game that always stuck with me. The music, I think, was quite unique at its time. The fact that the Atari 2600 both had sound effects and music playing in the background. Although I never made a system, ever since that point onwards, the NES, SNES, N64, you know, all Nintendo, Sony, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, Microsoft Xbox 360, Xbox One, the original Xbox and Xbox One, as well as Sega Master System, Mega Drive, Saturn, Dreamcast, you know, pretty much all of them. So the idea of this is that my game reviews are to be as unbiased as possible. I do appreciate this is a pilot episode and that the production values aren't going to be fantastic, but I just hope that you enjoy it anyway. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the first game in the series, which is Blue Shadow on the NES. Blue Shadow, or Shadow of the Ninja as it's known in the US, is a side-scrolling platformer released in 1991 for the Nintendo Entertainment System by Taito and developed by Natsume. The game is set in America in the year 2029. An emperor named Garuda killed a number of innocent people, and it's up to you to put a stop to it. Ninja! You can choose to play as one of two ninjas, Hayate or Kaede, either in single or two-player mode. Neither of the two ninjas really have anything to set them apart, they're the same offensive attacks. The only obvious difference is the sprites themselves. To start with, you'll be equipped with a katana sword, which can be swapped out with what looks to be some kind of chain hook type thing. Technical term, obviously. Upon doing some research, however, this weapon is what is known as a kusarigama. Along the way, you will pick up other items such as ninja stars, grenades and health, all of which can be found in item boxes. Being equipped with a katana and picking up multiple other katana icons will increase weapon power up to a total of 3 times, however taking a considerable amount of damage will reduce the weapon's efficiency. Both main weapons are useful in their own way, however I tend to stick with the kusarigama as it's a long range weapon and I find keeping your distance from the majority of the enemies in this game is probably best practice, whereas the katana sword is more of a close range weapon. If at times you find yourself overrun by enemies, then there is a special attack you can use, but holding down the B button for roughly 6 seconds without taking any damage will summon lightning to kill all enemies on the screen at once. Be careful though, doing this will drain roughly half your energy and can only be performed if you have enough energy available. Furthermore, this attack cannot be performed on boss stages. The game consists of 5 stages, each of which have multiple levels. The majority of stages will contain a sub-boss and a main boss. Falling off of a platform's edge doesn't instantly kill you, but instead drains a portion of your life, giving you another chance and respawning you at the nearest edge. I really like this because it means not having to restart from the very beginning of the stage, which we all know some games are capable of doing. You're going to need to keep an eye on your health meter though, as you only have a single life. The saving grace to this, however, is that you have up to 5 continues. Using a continue will start you back at the beginning of the current level, whereas if you manage to reach the boss, will place you at the beginning of a boss battle. That's pretty nifty. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get past the stage 4 boss. This guy was tough, and I found that I couldn't quite judge his attack pattern of whereabouts he was going to land when he swooped down to attack. I took damage almost every time and thought I'd mastered it at one stage, but I didn't, and I died again and again and again. As I previously mentioned, the game can be played with a second player simultaneously. I didn't get to play too much of this, but found that it was very beneficial to play with a friend, or in my case, my fiance, who unfortunately isn't very good at platform games. However, if you find someone to play this game with who is good at side-scrolling platformers, then I highly recommend you do so, as it does add that little extra bit of fun. The game's soundtrack is excellent. Each level has very catchy music and boss fights help build the suspense. I always find that a good video game soundtrack is just as important as the game's graphics and gameplay. The character and enemy design have been handled very well. Everything has nice animations, not leaving a single thing out of place. My only criticism would be that I'm not too sure what these guys are. They kind of look like some kind of monkey whipping you with their tails. Back in the day, I found the game's graphics to be very nice, with a lot of attention to detail from the very go. Just look at stage 1 for example. The rain is an obvious observation, but the smaller details include the railing chains and flag blowing in the wind. Quite impressive for its time. One of my favourite stages from the game is stage 4. The all-round attention to detail is again really impressive for its time and possibly had the best music in the entire game. I mean, just listen to this. There are also no complaints with the level design for this game either. Each stage and its levels have a very consistent difficulty curve and boss battles provide a fair challenge. Although I did come across this one section in stage 4 level 1 I found to be a tad annoying. There is almost no room to make a convincing jump and it took me a few tries to get it right, but it's not a huge deal and can be done without taking any damage by falling down the gap. Blue Shadow is a great game with great level design, catchy music that will get stuck in your head and a difficulty curve that doesn't drain the fun away but does provide an even challenge. It is definitely worthy of a purchase for retro gamers and can be picked up on eBay for roughly about £14 for the cart only, buy it now, or $20 for our American friends. The game can also be picked up on the Wii U store and the Nintendo 3DS as a download. So there you have it, Blue Shadow on the NES. You know, I hope you enjoyed this pilot episode of gameplay and I do hope to see you again for the next episode. Bye for now.